Also,
they can be discussion on
so each law, each county is actually,
yeah, there's increase on there. You can see it right there. In the first line of the grid is what they're looking for. It's 66. Basically, I'm just to play.
Do we have a copy of what last year, what this year, every department can do?
Yeah, that's right in that first page. Yeah, this one. Yeah, we've got last
You have your notes, and we ask you, we were part of the court.
What is?
We're part of the court, the second one is to carry this that far. You'll be able to tell us, my judgment, 261,
Well, I'm going to have to go there. I'd like to go there a little bit later once we get these numbers here approved. There's a lot of adjustments done based on, you can't see, when you look at it that way, you're assuming the prior year's budget was right on, and it wasn't. So a lot of this differential is really based on that. So we had to make some significant adjustments this time. When I say, I make those adjustments, I went back to every department and said, here's what you got to do. And they evaluated what they could ask for, and resubmitted. So now that we match.
I have never seen one like this. There's always been where if it went up in showers, if it went up in trash, if it went up in whatever, we had it there, we could, tell.
He's got it. He's got everything.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I didn't explain, I've been working on these today. I mean, I'm working on these about 3 o'clock today, so I don't, there's just a little bit of work to do, but this is what they committed to so that we can hit our numbers. So, and today, to me, is for them to come in and say, we don't appreciate what you've done and we need more for this. That's what I told everybody when we work with that. So the development authority's here for that reason. But believe it or not, everybody else worked with me. Not for one good thing.
I hope you understand what I'm doing.
You'll have that.
Like Hamlin says 790 and 743.
Right.
And, I'm wondering if this is, another employee or if it's, a lot of overtime or.
Well, this actually goes way back.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And, but then, we can do it.
It is 5 o'clock. This is a budget workshop meeting. First on the agenda is to approve or deny a resolution adopting policy governing public works. All of you got your copy of that, looked over. Kind of gives a guideline on their work and what we can do and what we can say.
When you called, did you talk to Mr. Thompson?
I didn't, I got to talk to that girl over here that worked it back.
You said you-
And then when she told me that what they did, I called Dave Weaver and talked with him again. He said all counties had a policy, and he would email one to Gary, and we could look over, that was the policy he sent.
Well, I called Jackson, and then I talked to the guy that's over the shop, and then he said some went to the commissioners that worked uptime, and some of the commissioners went to the shop, and some of them called or whatever, that it went through the office over there, which the two girls is there.
And that's kind of what this policy, I mean, like you've got a washout, or you got pothole, you call it road carpet, and tell them the road and everything. This policy is for us not to be aggravating the employees. And by law, I mean, every one of y'all went to that same school I went to. By law, we're not supposed to call employees while they're on their job to start with. And that was the problem with Mr. Earl getting upset. Because he'd have them on the job and he called, leave it, and go somewhere else.
Well, and it also prevents somebody who's working over there, or even the road superintendent, from saying, well, I want the road straight by my house.
Right.
You know, they can't do it for any kind of purpose other than the way they're supposed to do it, the sequence they're supposed to. No special favors, I guess, are treated, what it comes
Favoritism,
down
just
to.
the way you put it. I feel like that policy would make it a lot easier on the road superintendent. And on the employees too.
I really don't see nothing in that policy to make it.
Well, maybe y'all need to
I don't
talk.
call them
You
employees.
know.
I always just
call
call
them.
whoever answers the phone. I
Yeah,
tell
he can
them.
explain it a lot better than that letter there. So,
I don't see anything wrong, but I mean, I'd like to hear, you know, somebody explain, I mean, what do you see anything negative in this,
In
the policy?
I mean, I don't see any reason to have it, but, or Dave Wills, did you this year get in touch with about 911, you haven't heard her? Or it may be, like, I said, I started looking at
Yeah,
the
it's one.
July, I think of the month. We'll wait there and discuss it, put us in.
yeah, I mean, I'd rather y'all hear it from him. The letter is what it wrote, when I talked to him on the phone, he explained it a lot different. You can understand him a lot better than you can that letter.
I don't got any problem with it, but if everybody else wants to wait until we talk to David.
I'd rather y'all hear it.
Well, let's table it till then, because I don't have a problem at all with the policy, but.
Well, when he explained it to me, I mean, I understood what he was talking about. And all other counties, most all other counties have that policy.
So I'll make a motion to table it till Dave Wills is here to explain it to us in person.
So we table that till you meet with today.
Who seconded it?
Gary.
Approve, deny, and transferring golf course leased equipment to the city of Hazelhurst. All of y'all are pretty much familiar, we did do the paperwork Tuesday. Someone else had it, we had it.
And this is gonna be all the leases concerning the golf course, it's gonna be golf carts and
Golf
equipment.
I guess,
Well,
golf carts and.
We don't know about the equipment really where we, or I don't know,
I don't know.
where we leased it or where we bought it. We don't pay on the 7,700 more.
They was 48 months, and we done paid 40 months on it.
We done paid 40 months, we don't get 8 months.
8 months left on the lease.
Right.
Well, you say lease or?
Is this a
or
lease
say we
or
don't-
is it a-
Mr. Gary don't know, he's gonna call it
We gotta
tomorrow.
find, we gotta call
Table
to
it.
find out.
That first tractor there
It
called
was
it.
$40,000 and we done paid, we don't over 8 months on it.
We don't know, but,
6,600.
What we don't know is if we have to turn it in at the end of the lease, or it's a lease to buy option. That's what we gotta
For
find
sure,
out.
we ain't leased nothing for
I don't-
$20,000, done paid for it now. They have? Well, I was told a long time ago that all that equipment was leased.
That's what they were saying last night.
How much was the lease payment on
About 2,000 a month.
But I was just secondhand, so
it? Was that on just?
I mean, None of that, you know. I was on the greens mower and the fairway mower and all that fancy equipment from John Deere.
Yeah.
It was leased, but
Ours is at least.
I don't know for a fact, but that's just what I was told when it.
I mean, you lease a car, but then at the end, or we lease these motor graders, and at the end of our lease, we can have a balloon payment.
Sure.
And buy them, and a lot of times it's not a whole lot. And this,
I just figured it out, to be sure, we ain't leased no $40,000 tractor, and they'll pay $40,000 and we'll give it back. To be sure, they had more sense than that.
I don't know,
I wasn't there either, but.
I will, I mean, we need to table the equipment part, we need to vote on the golf carts, is that what we need to do? Can we do that?
if, tell me this, if they assume it, and it comes out of the county's name and goes in the city's name for the remaining time, is that correct?
That's what I understand of the golf carts.
Okay. What we're gonna need to do is let our lawyer talk to their lawyer and tell them what we want if we going to do it. We just gonna buy out, because they're more than that much left on the golf carts, because they just swapped them out about a year ago.
Right.
And I got no problem with the golf carts if we can just get out from under it, but don't leave it in the county name and the city just pay the check, you know, and then if something happens a year or 2 years or whatever, then we come back and we still owe it. But, we'll just Carla have to talk to their lawyer. And if y'all willing to swap it from the Jeff Davis County to the city of Hazelhurst and let them assume it, then I'm all for that.
That's the way it's going, I believe.
I'm sure that's not the way they would do it too.
Like I said, first we gotta make sure they would do it that way, and I think they would, but then we gotta make sure that the golf company would do it that way.
The golf cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna stipulate in there what it's got to be and make the motion to go on, or we're gonna go ahead and agree that we do it, and Gary talks to Carla, and Carla talks to their lawyer, and that it can come out of the county's name and go into the city's name, and then we don't have any more liability whatsoever on it, and we're free of it, then I'm all for it.
That's the way I want to make it. On the golf cart. We don't know where we at on this equipment.
Yeah, no, we'll have to wait to get in touch with them. I don't know, I don't know either.
So I'll make a motion on the golf carts to relinquish it to the city, as long as it goes into their name and they're liable for it, the rest of it.
Yeah, basically, they're assuming the lease.
Yep.
I need a second. All in favor? And you'll check in on the other stuff?
You gonna check in on those?
Right. Yes, sir.
Next, review 2016 proposed budget. All y'all have a copy here?
What I've done is taken the numbers y'all gave me, went back, made adjustments, went to every single department, told them what, we're shooting for to try to hit our bottom line number. And everybody worked with me. We feel pretty good. They took their line items, went back and reworked it, resubmitted, and we worked out and got it to where we're on target with what we planned for.
This, at $8,732,872. That's roughly what we'll take up now, is that
Right.
the amount of revenue we got coming in?
Yeah, we should be fine with that. It's the same budget as last year with the extra increase for the healthcare premiums.
$114,351 increase.
Right.
might well have.
Yeah, 17.5.
Yeah.
The total on it was, like 80-something thousand.
114. That's the exact difference between these two numbers. Because that's what we,
Agreed to do.
yeah,
Right, we've already.
and we felt pretty comfortable we'd have the revenue coming to handle that, so.
And this sheet that we have here, the difference between 15 and 16.
Right.
Is, it's got the help figured in, and then any other adjustments that have to be
Right.
made.
Once I have the time, I'll have you the backup detail for each one of these.
So you have the backup once we.
Yeah, I've got all the line items. I just, like I said, I'm still working on this today because they were still getting me the final, what they had. And it needs to be uploaded to our, software, and then we'll have everything. You can't control how many people visit him, so that's what I was told.
Department.
That's right.
That was based off of that, so.
Be thankful they didn't need me.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in that number there.
That's right.
Not yet, anyway. And I instructed everybody to be here tonight if they want to make a case, and we have, for, additional.
You'll have the two, that's, you hear for it, about yours, or? Okay, so we got the development authority and the county agent, if we have a problem.
The county agent's got a problem.
Yeah, I said if we have one, he does. I promise you, but
It
that's-
rained this week. It rained this week. He should be fine. Everybody's happy.
So we ask them this time if they want to address this.
Yeah, I guess so, if you've looked over this, and, it has to be satisfactory, because it comes to the number, and if we can get everybody within there, okay, then we're fine.
Well, it will be soon, right, yeah.
They're not on a line in here, but it's 64,000 is what the budget was, and that budget has remained flat, basically, just like the rest of ours. Other appropriations. It's a line item detail, it doesn't have its own charts, it fits in with.
And the budget is 64 last year.
Right.
Budget is 76.
Well, that's what they're, you let them explain it.
You want to explain that, Grant?
I'd rather just get a check. That's how it works, isn't it?
I gotta hear this before I can approve that.
Well, if y'all may, let me tell you what's coming up, and I think that'll kind of put some things into light.
When you come up here,
Yes, sir. Everybody should have a copy of the proposed budget of what we worked up. We presented this to Gary early part of last week. And let me draw your attention to, on the first page, there in the red where it says Jeff Davis County Commissioners. This is where the increase is coming into play. We actually have two or three different bond series that are going on at the same time. The 2004 bond payment has been interest only and will expire on the interest only payment in July. After July, beginning January of 2016 is when we're going to have to start making principal and interest payments on that 2004 bond. Also, as you're aware, with all the work we've been doing assisted Fram in their development and everything, we did take out a 2014 series, A and B, which right now is interest only based on the amount that we've drawn up to this point. We're using the SPOS money to set aside in preparation for when those payments come due for principal and interest payments, which will be in 2020, I believe, is when that begins. No, 2019, I'm sorry. From 2019 to 2029 is when we have the principal and interest, the fully amortized payment on that. So
Won't they be
again,
making payments on that?
we are making payments
I
on it,
mean,
yes.
that, when you loan it to somebody like Jeff Davis, bid in the ground, we make a payment.
Correct.
Every month, don't I make that payment?
Well,
You make your payment.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's not on there.
I want whoever gets that other money, that bond, don't they make that payment?
No, they're in jail right now. That's the bond we're talking about.
Okay.
Remember that one?
I know it's here something
Okay.
good.
And
Well, I
and
don't.
we have been making interest and principal payments on that, he even spoke on that. We have been making, we pay an interest payment only in July and a principal and interest in January. We've been doing that since 2004. That's before he showed up, so. On the 2004 series bond,
And how much longer is that gonna last?
till 2019. It expires, the principal on it quits the same year the new principal kicks in with the 2014 bond. We did that on purpose.
But again, the question was asked, if it's a bond and when the payment starts, the person that's on is making that payment, right?
There is no person on that bond anymore. That person is in jail.
Till he comes and goes, don't
Well, he's been in jail for a while.
he? For about
Huh?
about 6 months.
That's a loan that was made a few years back,
Before our time.
before our time.
It was the best company that went in down there, said, well, it's gonna make the bullet proof. No, they could make sweaters, not vests.
Yeah, it was sweaters.
Sweaters, I'm
They
sorry.
were trying to get that contract. but
They were trying to get that contract, what they blew the smoke, made us think it was gonna have a dollar here either, but still, it,
But we got paid for it.
yeah.
And it's gonna take that much to make it. How much is still owing on that?
About 700,000.
That's a bad bullet to swallow.
Been swallowing it for about 8 years now.
No, we
just
just walked
paying-
in.
Paid.
We just been paying interest. We ain't spent nothing.
They,
No, we've been paying it for 10 years, principal and interest, 15-year bond. We got about 5 years left. Development Authority's been paying. With all the new stuff that we've taken on with the Prime project and doing the railroad, doing the road, water line, buying the land, and doing this new bond, that's where we've taken on more responsibility. We were under the impression in the beginning that the county was gonna do the road, going in there, but I don't think that's gonna happen, and that's gonna fall back on the Development Authority to try to handle that, completely out of bond proceeds. We've had a few cost overruns with the dirt work, with the railroad, bed, because it was so wet this winter. We had to haul out more dirt that we thought we were gonna be able to use as good dirt, but it wasn't good dirt when it was that wet. So we got some cost overruns there, and we got the road we gotta pay from 341 into the, new entrance to that property. All this was pledged to Fram to get them to move to Jeff Davis County and do this project. So 4 years ago, I think Jerry was probably involved with that and his other tenure. You remember that?
How much is the interest you're paying on this?
Which one?
on the 700,000 first tax?
That's a 6.6% interest, I believe is the number.
6.6?
Fixed rate. It started in 2004 now, it's a whole different world.
Interest rates were definitely higher back then than they are
It's a
today.
fixed rate, and it's got a prepayment penalty. If you pay it off early, you have to pay the difference in what they could reinvest the money in. Going forward, we already tried that once.
You said something a while ago about the road. I guess, it's, because I'm pretty new here. You said y'all assumed that the county was gonna do this. Where did the assumption of that come from?
Well, the assumption is actually from a memorandum of understanding and other letters that were signed by Raywood at the time. And it did commit to doing highway improvements with XL and decel lanes going into the plant, which is going to be referred to as, where y'all know as McPherson Drive. And
So y'all went on assumption from one man?
most of this was actually all signed by the county commission chairman.
Mr. Hall was involved in that.
I'm just asking, because I don't know.
Okay.
No, I guess assumption, is.
That's
the
what he
assumption
said,
is
he
that
said
we
he
were-
assumed, so I'm just.
Right. Well, let me clarify for you. We acted based on what we had in writing.
Okay.
And signed by the county commission chairman at that time. Since then, there has been some question back and forth as to what the real commitment was. Well, we've got a memorandum of understanding stating that, yes, we will provide highway improvements and also road improvement going to the facility. The county has done a lot of the dirt work that's actually on the east side of the track, the 341 side of the track.
Is this figured in that budget? No.
Now the road actually is part of the whole project, which we have a 2014 series bond for. But because we have limited resources, the county, they did the best they could. I have to commend the guys on the work that they did. I mean, they went in there, they did the best they could with what we had. We went as far as to hire additional dump trucks to come and assist, and it was amazing how much work we got done with that assistance. But as y'all know, we've got a lot of county roads that need attention as well. And there's been a lot of traffic with the dump trucks that have been going all over the place. So we understand that our resources are very limited and they have to be dedicated to the taxpayers. Not a problem. But because we did commit to this originally with the industry, that we would provide that access to the plant. And the work is, we're over halfway there, really. The industry did pick up on this a little bit. They did the work themselves on the east side, the west side of the track on their side. They hired a contractor to go ahead and do that work. They're also right now going to use the same contractor to help us on the 341 side so we can get that water line in. But we still have, we still have a commitment to provide a road to that industry. And as y'all are aware, if you try and go in there right now on, and I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of the road that they're using right now.
The one that goes by the recycling.
Farmer.
Yeah,
Farmer.
Farmer. That one's looking bad, just like any of the other county roads that, are being destroyed right now. So really, what we're looking at here is we have these commitments. We're going to fulfill the commitments with the industry. The bonds, as the payments are coming due on these things, we, as Mr. Gainer said a while ago, really this project was delayed almost 2 years. Had we actually been able to do it in the time frame that it was originally agreed to, we probably wouldn't be in this situation at all. But we began work at the wrong time of the year. That's where a lot of the overrun is. As you said, we had to remove way more dirt than what was anticipated originally. Obviously you got to bring in the same amount, if not more dirt. And unfortunately, had to go off-site, so it became quite costly. It was really just, if we could have waited till the summer to start, then, probably be that bad.
What, keep hearing you say, anticipate, and I'm wondering where these bids come from, like on, you have to take more dirt out than was anticipated. Did anybody get a bid on what this was gonna cost?
We went through the full bid process, yes, sir.
Yeah, we got an EDA grant to cover.
Who bid it?
Joey Hires actually was a low bid.
We advertised in the paper, got 4 different bids, had the bid opening, Mr. Hall was there when we did the bid opening. Or if he wasn't there, he was there at the meeting that followed the bid opening where we talked about all this. So I mean, this is all done the proper way. We've just had change orders, as they want to call them, cost overruns. Because when they looked at the project in July to bid it out, to do the specs, it was, when we turned around in January and tried to do the actual work, it was 2 different scenarios.
Did it have to be done in January?
We
Yeah,
did
we
have
were
a,
18 months behind. Yeah.
we actually had a deadline to begin work out there in order to still qualify for the grants.
Yeah.
And that deadline was actually in November or December, I believe. And the source of all of this really is that somebody disturbed wetlands a couple of years ago. And Army Corps of Engineers said, stop, we can't do anything else until they, until we made restitution for that. So we began to find ourselves in a crunch situation where we had a deadline where we had to begin work. I personally went to Savannah, picked up the wetlands permit. Within 2 weeks, we had, this thing rocking and rolling, and then rain. It just didn't stop. It was the worst time for us to begin work, but unfortunately, that's when we had a deadline to begin work at that time.
Don't they try to get it expansion on?
I'm sorry?
You didn't try to get it extended?
We got how many extensions?
Oh, on the
With
EDA grant?
EDA.
Yeah, we got a year and a half of extensions on it.
Yeah.
We were to the point of losing a $950,000 grant to help pay us back our loan. So this was, we did all we could do to salvage the project and make sure that we weren't going to be spending. We got $1,600,000 in grants to help with this project. We didn't want to delay and not get that $1,600,000 and have to pay it all between the development authority and the county. That would have been shooting yourself in the foot. So we were dealt the hand cards we had to play with them. We got it, which we did.
You answered that question pretty good. Let me ask you one more question.
Still ain't-
What are you gonna get?
The bid.
I don't understand the bid. Once they bid, I don't say I didn't go up on it.
That's me. I mean, I do it every day. I bid jobs out every day. If I tell a man $10,000, that's what he's gonna pay. Every day. For 25 years I've done it.
We had our engineer and our attorneys go through the contracts that were bid out, they were advertised. It's all done under the supervision of the federal government with our EDA grant. It had to pass all those tests. Document was about that big. It was advertised in the paper 4 weeks in a row. It was sent, you had to pay $150 to get a copy of the bid document. This wasn't me and Elliot decided to hire some dump trucks.
I know that. I mean, I'm
all
talking
done.
about the person that wanted to bid. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking
How
about.
did the bid go up once y'all?
Well, at the time when the bid package was put together, the conditions were completely different. Once the bid was awarded and went to work, like I said, that the work began at the wrong time of the year, really.
I think got nothing to do with the bid, had it?
Well, actually, I mean, once they submit change orders, they have to be approved through the engineer. They also have to be sent to DCA and to keep records with our grants. And believe me when I say, I have stayed on top of this engineer like white on rice about these change orders, and they have been justified on every single one, simply because when the original plans were drawn up and the bid documents were drawn up and everything, we were looking at, okay, we've got these conditions, this is what we're working with. When we started work, everything changed. Now we're hauling out considerable amount of soil.
So the engineer has, in essence, changed the specifications and that's caused the bid to change,
Right.
not the guy to give you the bid.
That's right.
Correct.
He would have still done the same exact thing for that bid, but y'all, or not y'all, but the engineer's changed it, so he's had to change his, so I understand that.
And with that
And
rail,
the importance of dirt work is to make sure the bed of your railroad is
right,
secured. So with $1 million railroad on top of a $100,000 dirt job, When it should have been a, then they're just going backwards.
Let me ask you one more question. We were 64 last year and 176 this year, and it ain't figured in the budget, when we gonna get that money?
So give them the money, I don't
Trying
know.
to think when the actual
I don't know.
payments begin.
Where are you looking at, Jerry?
On that spreadsheet.
I mean, when we all voted to do the 2014 bond, and we raised taxes about a year and a half ago, 2.5 mils, is that right? In all that discussion, 1 mil of that was for the development authority to fund this new bond. That was the discussion that was told to us and the public. Well, that 1 mil never came to the development authority to fund this bond. So,
It was told 1 mil would go toward, and then they
I
have
was there
never,
when they said that.
they have never received it.
no,
And the last-
we didn't need it last year.
Yeah.
I'll give you that, we didn't need it last year, but getting close to needing it now.
What I'm trying to say is this,
So this in a minute.
what I'm trying to say is this. All I know we'd have to do is just go back to the table and recut some more budget somewhere else, because I am not voting for another tax increase period. They might, but I'm not. Because look here, I'm paying $14.66 an acre where I live. I got land that's valued a lot more in Coffee County, and I'm paying $6.62 an acre.
I'm not.
And I got the paper right there in the truck if you want to see it, if you doubt.
I'm not gonna argue with you, I don't wanna pay any higher taxes either. I'm just telling you our situation and where we stand with our two bond issues.
Well, but now, some of these things that come in, and we don't know yet, Captain, the assessor's office, but, I mean, we got some numbers that some taxes is going to be coming in.
Right.
Did I take care of this?
Well, I just said we didn't have the numbers. We can sit down and figure. I have never worked on the budget the 6 years I've been here like this. We always had some numbers, and even though it's estimated, here's what you drew last year, and here's how much you're going to have this year by the increase. They gonna have to guess, and some of them here tonight, they don't know how many's gonna be appealed, how many's going to be turned down, but you'd always have a number. And now this year, we had the increase because I reckon it was kind of a county-wide rebound and reevaluation. And, but
Well, keep in mind too that eventually, Fram is gonna start paying, paying the lease on this. I mean, part of the incentive was, we gave them the land and everything, gave them the startup period and all that, but they're making roughly a $91 million investment out there. So when that tax
when will they start paying?
is at 5,
Can't remember if we gave them a 5-year, then it goes 20% to the 10th year, and that's when it's 100%. I believe that's the deal we gave them.
I think that's right.
First 5 is free, and then you pay 20, 40, 60, 80, 100% on year 10.
We have.
It's all in
I
there.
think
Was this figure in this figure?
No.
It is not.
No, the budget, what's in there is exactly what they had last year, 64,000.
Okay.
The development authority's always been in the other category.
Right, it is. It is included in other appropriations right there.
Other appropriations.
And they're asking for how much more?
112.
112 more.
Half of it. They ain't even coming and asking for the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't see how we're gonna have to.
But we're just asking for what we think we need. Like I said, we didn't need it last year, we didn't have to have it. So when I talked to, two county commissioners,
I was here tonight.
the little guy that was here 3 months, I can't remember his name right now.
Sawyer.
Yes, Bill Sawyer. We talked about it, and he said, get by with the least you can this year, and we talked about it, we agreed to a figure we want. Because we didn't need it that year. So that's how we come from that figure to this figure.
I was here tonight, and they discussed that it's supposed to be a meal. I was sitting right back there. A meal of that 2.5% was supposed to went. I was here when that took place. Or they said they was gonna give it to you.
Right.
Development Authority. But, all I gotta say is we just wait and see what we got coming in. I reckon we got it. I ain't got no problem with it.
We'll do everything we possibly can to make sure it happens.
That's all we can.
We'll do everything we can to make sure we can live on whatever y'all give us. But just always remember that all we are is a kid at college with a credit card. Everything we do and borrow is guaranteed by the county.
What you saying, you're spending somebody else's money?
Spending y'all's money.
When they're
But
right.
if the development authority can't pay for it, then everything we got is guaranteed by the county, so it's just gonna
That's right.
flow uphill.
That's right.
I won't say.
But let me back up on the road. Yes, the road deal in the meeting here, and I mean, we'd have to dig up the paperwork and all. We had, in our meeting here, when Ray brought it up, we had made that we would take and do the dirt work into, just like we did. But it never was brought up to, in here, that we were going to pay for the road to be built in there, or we were going to take and pay for the asphalt. We said we do in-kind work, all that we could do with the help we had. And that was to prepare the road like we did. And all, so now if anything else was promised or told, I don't think I'm pretty sure.
Well, and I've been in some of those conversations with y'all as well.
Yes.
And actually, we move forward based on
What we said we do.
what we said we would do. And then going back through other documents that we need to find for other reasons, the memorandum of understanding, all the things that took place prior to our conversations, things that happened before I got here, I wish I had been privy to. That's when I discovered that there was actually a written commitment to doing that stuff. But that's okay. We've got a solution to that. I mean, we're going to succeed in that
We don't care
project.
about the past.
No,
We look at the future.
exactly. We want to do what we got to do to move forward, is all. And, appreciate y'all, saying that we do the best that we can. We'll do the best we can as well.
Appreciate it.
As long as we just keep moving forward, I think everybody will be all right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions for us? We can be dismissed. Thank y'all.
Just be careful,
We're trying.
Where am I when I get there?
Easy on the road.
Anybody else? Got questions about the budget? That's what we're here for right now.
Y'all got a copy of it?
What do you want specifically?
What y'all gonna do with the school, I guess.
Well, Keith's got it.
We got you. A little bit later. I'll see. I think it's actually a little bit. You are.
Exactly the same. We worked on it together. You have that, and that's the same thing he brought me back in terms of the budget.
Anybody else here about the budget?
I think I'm supposed to come in and talk about some personnel with, right here.
All right, we'll call you when we, in executive session, just a little bit.
Who made the motion?
I did. And Jerry seconded.
You gotta leave, Ron.